Have you ever felt like you were meant for something more, but you were too scared to leave what was safe? Hold on. This is a shame-free zone. We listen and we don't judge here. Because if I'm being so for real, that person was me until I made the scariest yet best decision of my life. From the big screen to behind the scenes, it's your set bestie Lexa here to keep it real. Welcome to the first podcast episode of what I like to call Be So For Real. And for our first one-on-one talk, I want to discuss why I quit my 9-to-5 jobs to go on the pursuit of my creative purpose. And I want to say this, starlets. If you are on your own creative journey, which you must be if you're watching this video, you are not alone. Hit that subscribe button and join a creative community that is meant to uplift each other and encourage each other while we are on the pursuit of our own creative purpose. When I first graduated college, I was working multiple jobs that I hated. I was stressed, uninspired, overworked, and yet I was consistently hit with this question that plagued my mind. Was this it? Was this all I had to give? Are my dreams done? Was this really it for me? And so I did something really crazy. I quit all of my jobs. And so in February 2022, I was fresh out of college, light beaming high. Oh my gosh, I was in La La Land, still here, at least trying to make it so, because if I'm being for real, y'all, I did not have no place to stay. I was in, I don't know where I was at mentally, but I guess I was in a sort of straight hustle mode because I did not want to leave LA. At that time, I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be here. I didn't go through school, through the freaking pandemic, to just go up and fly back home and give up, So I, graduating school, I was, couch hopping while I applied to apartments and stuff, and it was just getting rejected, which was so crazy. And really the main thing that kept me here, ironically, was my jobs. I just knew I wasn't going to stay long, as artists usually don't. Creatives always have a, quote, survival job. That's what they preached in school. But something that they didn't teach me in school was how to maintain the fuel for my creative fire. Because also when I graduated, I was kind of going to test out just having a, quote, mundane life outside of my creative endeavors. I was trying to find a way to recharge, and I really didn't have the tools for it. I didn't have a stable foundation like a home. I was just winging it out here, crashing wherever I could. Oh, goodness, girl. I reflect back. It's so crazy. But when you have that focus and know what you want, for me at least, nothing's going to deter me. I'm creatively depleted after 3 years of just pumping out full artistic creations. I just didn't have any energy for it. So I went into, quote, the everyday life, trying to get my foundation together so that I could, find a place to settle, so that I could go on the pursuit of my acting career. And so I was working 2 jobs at the time, y'all. Both my jobs were all day. They consumed my livelihood. When I say this, I mean, I was getting up at 6 a.m., going to work, clocking out of that job at 3 p.m. to go down the way to clock into another job at 3:30 to then leave that job at 11 p.m. Y'all, it was not it. Mind you, I had never worked a, quote, real world job. I worked at my school as a librarian, but I had never worked in the customer service industry or the fast food industry. I was not prepared, but I still had some ball of light within me to keep on keeping on. And with those jobs they definitely kept on stealing from my energy. I was just overworking myself, trying to make ends meet. I completely lost track of where I wanted to be in life and my career. And yet, throughout this entire time post-grad, hopping from job to job, just still feeling so depleted and lost, truly, I'll say this. God, the divine, whomever you determine is the higher power that guides your life, will always put forth signs to check and see if you are on the right path, for you to recognize it, or to open that door to put you on the right path. And I'll tell you, when I was post-grad, I had that second option. I was being met with signs and synchronicities that challenged my current perspective, that said, oh, you're working these jobs, but do you know that there's something greater out there for you that you're meant to do, what you came out here for, what you got your degree in, girl? And I'll give you an example. I was working as a cashier at one of my jobs, and dude, I tell you, it's so funny because I seem to always be adjacent to the rooms that I wanted to be in. I would always have people, quote, cross my path, testing me to really see if I was ready to go on this artistic pursuit, if I was really ready to enter the entertainment industry. And on this day that I was cashiering, I ended up coming across a casting director, and they liked my look and gave me the email. And they're like, reach out. We'll, try to put you in something or generally strike up a conversation. And I never reached out. Never reached out. I was trapped within the illusion of comfortability working my jobs. And that's not the first time that's happened at this one particular job. I generally think this particular place, let's just call it like the cliche job for artists. I was, even within this cliche, I was surrounded by other artists making their hustle, because it takes a lot of money to make it out here in LA. I'm not a Nepo baby. My parents definitely are not rich. So it was just me against money trying to tackle it. And anywho, I just feel like I was going through tests like that, meeting people and having people come up to me and be like, you know what, I recognize you. Like, oh, you should do this. You should go act. You should push through. I'm telling you, having full-blown conversations with strangers, which might end up being earth angels. Looking back on it, you never know. Some people just come through with a blessing to tell you, and you have to be open to receive it. And I wasn't open, y'all. I was caught up within what my reality was. I was not taking the signs and the synchronicities of what was being literally spoon fed to me. These people coming to me, wanting to interact with me, wanting to create with me. And I was just too afraid, really, of myself. So fast forward, all the way up to, I'll go straight up to July 2023. Because like I said, these instances of synchronicities kept coming to me. And I just ignored them until one day I was at a brand new job, this job that I was tolerant of. I didn't hate it, but I was tolerant of it. And I was making my lunch, packing up essentially to get ready to go to work. I'm chopping up vegetables because I'm a veggie girl. And I just have this really weird feeling come over me, like within my chest. It was like somebody had lit a little match, and just slowly something started boiling up within me. And I think about it now and I kind of get that feeling again. And it's just like, I'm no longer going to endure this. I'm not going to take on something that's not meant for me. And I know that this life, though it may work for others, I'm a creative. I was born to create. I can't sit here and deny my skills and deny the blessings that have tried to come forth to me during this time. I can't deny my authentic self anymore. And y'all, I put down the knife because I was chopping up stuff, and I was just like, this is the year I no longer endure. I've had enough. I can't do it anymore. You see this crazy look in my eye? Imagine me looking even crazier. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I have to leave. I have to quit. And I remember calling my mom and telling her, I'd be like, Mom, I'm going to quit my job. And she was like, I don't know. She's like, well, maybe like, you should wait on it a little bit because mind you, student loans, the bills don't wait for nobody. The bills don't care about your about your life. They're bills. I said, you know what? I got my degree in acting and I know I could rock the entertainment industry. There's more than one job out there, So why not give it a chance? Why not try to pay my bills just off of acting? And like I was saying, my mom was like, oh, well, no, just maybe hold on to this job, save up a little bit of money, and then, move forward, keep a little side hustle. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. My body's just screaming out, you don't need to be going down this direction no more. It's time to go down another path. And so after having this creative epiphany, this fire of, I'm not going to endure anymore. I'm going to go. I'm going to do something crazy, quit my jobs. I did just that. Listen, if I could sit on this bus and on this train going to a job that I loathe, best believe next time I get on this train or this bus, it's going to be going to set. Clock that. A big thing that came to me that year was just to walk in faith. I have to take a leap of faith on myself. I didn't come this far within my creative journey just to give up. I didn't freaking sleep on the couches. I didn't sleep on couches out here in LA, not to make stuff happen for me in my creative career. I didn't sleep on a couch just to go clock in to a job where nobody really cares about their employees, where I'm helping somebody else achieve their dreams. Though I don't mind being a mentor, I'm not going to be a slave to the system. Really, when it comes to the idea of like facing these fears and these doubts, I was walking in faith. I just had in addition to the fervor that was brightening up within me, that was burning even brighter within me, I just felt like I was being guided by a divine force that was telling me, step forward, take a chance on yourself. And I'll say to combat also my fears, even though the faith was my strongest, faith in self, faith in a higher power, every time I got on that bus, I was calculating how much I needed to make each week just to make rent. Not even calculating food, y'all. The fact is, my jobs weren't even feeding me literally. Like, they weren't feeding me at all. Literally, creatively, spiritually, nothing. They were just depleting me. And I had just gotten to the point where I feel like I'd gone creatively insane, artistically manic, if you will. And that's why I ended up quitting my jobs. And before I made that big jump, I won't say I had a detailed plan, but I will say this. Every time I got on that bus, every time I got on that train, I was submitting. I was self-submitting because, mind you, I didn't have an agent. I didn't have a manager. It was just me doing it myself. I had some money on the side and I bought casting networks. I bought Backstage, any place where I feel like I could put myself out there. I didn't even have up-to-date headshots. I just had the headshots from when I was in school that my mom took on my iPhone. It was oh my gosh, on my iPhone 8. And I could upload those pictures in this video because honestly, I don't think they look too bad. But I got my profile set up on these different casting sites. And every time I got on that bus and on that train, I was applying. Every time I saw something, boop, 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 apply. I just wanted to just be nourished creatively because I was in such a deep rut that had pushed me to this point. And what else was I to do? There was nothing else that I wanted more than to get back into my creative flow. And that's what I was pushing for. And I saved up like my last check that I got from my job and I left. I left because I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't put on a fake smile. I just wanted to be myself, and I wanted to live authentically. And I knew to be authentic, I had to go down the creative path, which was meant for me, which is what I came out here in LA to do. Be a creative, be an artist. And I'll say this. I started off kind of rough. I remember when I was first starting, I could be like $200 like short of rent. And I'd be like, dang, man, I really need to make rent. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Don't want to get any fees, da da da. And within a matter of a day, from all my, mind you, I'm waking up at the AM, submitting to the PM each day, submitting to castings. Next day, I get booked for something that is of that exact amount. In regards to hunger, guys, the universe is so funny because in my previous work, even though in my previous conventional works, I was not eating. It's so ironic. I was not able to afford groceries. And let alone now, I get booked on set where they have full buffets. My first set gig was a 𝓭𝐿 𝓢𝓽𝓪 music video. Ungrateful. You'll be able to clock me in the front row. And they had they had a snack setup, meals. We were fed. I just find that so hilarious. Like working the jobs that weren't meant for me, I was starved in many ways than one. And then walking on my correct path, I was fed in all the places that I needed to be, physically, mentally, emotionally, and creatively. And within that summer, all the way up to 2024, I was on a freaking roll, man. I have been on so many sets, even if it was starting off as background, because background, let me tell you something. Background is never background, and you should never just be sitting there as background. That is a paid networking event. And I could tell you a story. And matter of fact, where I am at now was from working background. How I was able to book my first gig as a production assistant was through background. And some highlights of that time was being able to work on such big lots. I'm talking about I was on, the Sony lot. I was on Warner Brothers lot. I was on the Universal lot, iconic lot, seeing, how everything works behind the scenes. I was so amazed and felt so blessed to be there and met so many great people working that time, people that understood my creative endeavors and encouraged me to keep pushing forward. My biggest one, I think, for me within that time span was booking my first lead role in a short film. I didn't even realize all the work that I had put in until the end of that set. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just completed my first lead role in a short film, which that short film came out in September 2024, got some laurels, like it got recognized and applauded for, which was great. It was amazing. Another big win from being on that creative path, being on the right path. Y'all, I had got a gig to work overseas. What? I could have never predicted that. In 2024, I was able to participate in some theatrical performances overseas in Italy, which was a pretty dope experience. I was not ready for tour. School did not prepare me for that. But hey, from what I knew from my newly gained street smarts, I combined it with my book smarts and I pushed through in that. And I don't regret going. I feel like within doing that and traveling, I fully replenished my creative spark. Yeah, that's when I fully came back to myself. And I ended up doing some work in Atlanta on a major film, which was pretty cool. And pushed and shoved, but made my way back to LA to where I opened myself up to new happenings, content creation, working behind the scenes, picking back up on my writing. Just so many blessings are waiting for you when you are ready when you are ready to take that leap of faith in self and step on that path. Step down that yellow brick road. And I want to say this. When I say faith, I do not just mean believing in yourself. It is not enough to simply believe in yourself. Faith and belief are two totally different things in my book. Belief can be questioned, but faith is unwavering. And I know I might see my guest woo-woo talking about this, but I really mean it. If I had not stepped into true faith in self and in divine power, I don't know if I would have had the courage, because that's what faith gives you. Faith gives you courage to go on the pursuit. I don't think I would have had it. And I'm grateful that that fire within me ignited to put me here today to hopefully share with somebody out there who is thinking about going on this path. And I want you to level up from I think I can to I know I can. That's powerful, knowing that you could do it, because you can do it. You can do it. Just have faith in yourself. If you have faith in nothing, have faith in yourself. Because you didn't come this far for nothing. But I digress. Aside from the woo-woo side of my story, some practical things I would like to share with you guys, my lovely starlets. Tip number 1, strategize and focus. If you want to escape your 9-to-5, it's time to buckle down and break down those expenses. This is the time of healthy sacrifices so you can live in fulfillment. You need to learn to live beyond temporary satisfaction. For example, that might mean you cut out getting your daily matcha, because that money could be used and should be used to invest in your future. Tip number 2, honey, expand your talents to diversify your income. Listen, I get it. You want to be an actor, but there's so much more work out there than just acting. I mean, shoot, let's bring back triple threats. The entertainment industry is huge. For example, you can delve into some form of content creation, whether you're managing somebody, you're scripting for somebody, or getting into UGC, because social media is a part of the entertainment industry. But if you want to stick to tradition, I recommend either getting involved in internships or behind the scenes with crew. You could start off with PAing and work your way up the ladder. With that being said, the people that you work with could definitely consider you for future projects. Tip number 3, socialize. This is imperative to your career. The truth is, this industry is about who you know. So it's important to be on the lookout for things like networking events. Do research on film festivals, where and when they are. Even if they're local, that's totally fine. If you're working background, be sure to chat it up with the other actors on set and maybe some of the crew. Do not just sit there. Shoot, and you never know who you could be meeting out in the wild, like when you're going to get your cup of coffee. The point is, be open to conversation. Because, child, as the saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed. And last but certainly not least, learn how to refill your creative well. Though it is important to have a hustle mindset as a creativepreneur, what impact can you make if you are literally burnt out? Remember, you're supposed to be having fun. Make sure you implement things in your daily routine to do things that are just silly goofy. Yeah, the mindset is to not be casual about your dreams, but life sucks when you're all work and no play. Follow your heart and have faith in yourself, because you can do it. You just got to do it. Quitting my 9-to-5 was not easy. It was scary. It was a winding path. It was messy. But choosing to follow my creative purpose, that is what gave me the freedom to do what I love today. If you're feeling stuck, just know that you're not alone. There are people that have come before you, and there are people that are with you now. And know that your dreams are worth the risk. You are worth the risk. If this quote dream has been planted in you for so long, it's got to have a purpose. It's there for a reason. Keep going. Thank you for listening, starlets. If this resonated with you, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more creativepreneur content. And you know what? I'm a curious bee. So why not comment below also your own creative endeavors, or in general, what you believe your purpose is. I'd love to hear your story. And remember this, your purpose is calling. Are you ready to answer? And that's the martini shot. I'll catch you on the next reel. Ciao, starlets.